How you doing? This is Sean McVeigh with Sean's Outdoor Adventures, and in this video I'm going to give you the basics on how to use a mouth call for turkey calling. And this video is intended for beginners. It's not intended for advanced callers. The people that I am addressing this to are the people who put one of these in their mouth and are practically choking on it, trying to figure out how to make a sound with it. Now, there's people who are really advanced in this type of calling. I don't claim to be one of them. This is simply a video to help beginners get this to make a sound that could actually work for them to call in a turkey. So I've got a couple different ones. Let me just put this in my pocket. And first and foremost, let me just talk a little bit about these mouth calls. I'm not brand specific. If you were to ask me what brand should I get, I'll say try a bunch, because I've bought probably 10 different mouth calls just to find one that I like. I prefer one that's a little bit bigger. There's ones that have a ridge in them that I've seen. I've tried them, don't like them, but that's just me personally. There's ones that are smaller than this, and I find that they just are not big enough for my mouth. You could be different though. So before I put this in my mouth, I want to talk about the way that I use my body to make the sound. So taking a deep breath, and the reason why I'm going over this is because I've read a couple things on like some of these mouth calls, and I've listened to like one or two people talk about calling, and none of those techniques really worked for me. I'm going to share with you what I kind of figured out by messing around on my own when I was younger, and what works for me. And hopefully, if you're having trouble, this will help you. So, take in a deep breath and hold your breath. Now, where I want you to feel the muscle constrict to hold the air in is right here. So go, and like internally, you'll feel that muscle kind of right in there, block the air from coming out. That is where I kind of hold the air from. I don't hold like, you can have the pressure point in your mouth. Let's call it the pressure point. The pressure point where that air is being stopped. You could do it in your throat, you could do it in your mouth. My pressure point is right here. Now, what I want you to do is let air out like this. That is basically how I use my body in turkey calling. So this is going to be in my mouth, and the way that I'm letting air out, I'm not blowing like, I'm not saying words like cluck or whatever. I'm using this right here in my body as the gauge, opening it and shutting it like that. So if you're new and you've been putting this in your mouth and trying to figure out how to get this to work without choking on it, try that. And if it doesn't work for you, then watch some more videos. Maybe somebody will have a better suggestion that'll work for you. So let's go ahead and put this in the mouth and make a few calls with it. So I'm going to take in a deep breath. My pressure point's right here. And the way that I put this in my mouth, and I realized because a couple friends of mine, we were texting a little bit about this, and I was saying the same thing pretty much as one of the other guys, but he's like, oh no, you don't do it like that. What I realized is our wording was just different. So what I said is you put it in your mouth and you hold up with the tip of your tongue. And what I was really saying is, if this is in my mouth and my finger's my tongue, with the tip of my finger being the tip of my tongue, the call is right about here on my tongue. And I hold up just a little bit with the tip of my tongue to keep it up in the roof of my mouth. Now, what you'll want to do when you're doing these turkey calls is try variations, like hold up a little bit with the tip of your tongue, and then maybe arch your tongue so that the middle to back of your tongue is up in there. And here's an important point. This particular call has 2 reeds, or 3 reeds basically. You'll want the shortest. I'm calling it the shortest. So here's the end of the call. There's a reed there, and then another one, and another one. So the shorter reeds should be facing down, because you're going to want your tongue to be able to come in contact with all those to make noise. So I'm going to put the longest reed, and the longest one, and this happens to be that dark one with the V cut in there, just to give it some rasp. So I'm going to have this in my mouth, and as I let the air out, I'm going to go like this with my jaw, and what it does is it takes my tongue off of the reed a little bit and makes the sound. Again, I'm not saying that I'm doing it the best or correct way. This is what works for me, and to me, that's all that matters. So again, I held my breath, this was my pressure point, and I let the air out basically like, and as I was doing it, I was moving my jaw open, which was taking my tongue. So my tongue is pressed up against here, and my jaw coming off, it allows it to make that noise. So that's what I use most of the time. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, people that are real big into turkey calling actually sound more precise than turkeys do in the wild. Like when you hear a human calling, like who's really good, there is sort of like, I don't want to say predictability, but you can hear the very succinct layout of the call that they're doing. There's been times I've been in the woods and heard what I thought was somebody who was brand new at turkey calling and sounded awful. I'm like, oh my goodness, this person's just gonna ruin this for me. And the next thing I know, here comes a hen. And it's because they don't even sound that great sometimes. So anyway, for me personally, I just do that basic call. And the other one that's like that excited, if you ever walk up on turkeys and spook them, they'll go boop, 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 and they'll be like, ah, get out of here. But you can actually use that in conjunction with your other calls. And the way I kind of do that is like a p, 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 with my lips. And I don't really explain it as in trying to pronounce words. I'll just go pop, 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 like basically like that without trying to say pop, pop, pop. There's also the purr, and I've done it different times in my life. When I was younger, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who laugh at this, when I was, like a teenager and I didn't have any instruction, I was just trying to make that purr sound, I would actually relax my lips and go. But, probably a more sophisticated way is to do like a gurgle, like a. Again, I don't even claim to be great at it. I'm just trying to show you my technique of getting the thing to make noise, where I hold the air right here and I let it out. I control how the air is coming out by this right here, by basically. And you can do long and then lock it up for things like the purr. And stuff like that. So that's basically how I do it. I would suggest trying some different calls. I have personal preferences, like that one there that I was using I like. This one's a little more narrow. So I actually have to use this one a little bit farther forward in my mouth. But the reeds, and I don't know if you'll really be able to see it, the reeds are all kind of close together. They do make them where the reeds are much more spread apart. And being the style that I use to make noise with these, I find that the closer reeds are a little bit easier for me to get more diverse noise out of because of the way that I just kind of hold my tongue. If you hold more of your tongue on there just naturally, then maybe the spread out reeds will work a little easier for you. But so this would be sound a little differently. Another thing you can do too is you can actually adjust the sound a little bit by moving the pressure point on your tongue a little bit and also opening your lips more like this. And let me just try this one again. So just opening your mouth, and most callers you'll see them, they got their hand doing stuff, muting, and I'm just not doing any of that, so you can kind of see my mouth as I'm doing this. But anyway, I just wanted to make this video in case the way that I let the air out helps some people that are new at it. Again, I don't claim to be great, I don't even claim to be good, but I have called turkeys in, have had success, and I don't choke on them. So good luck to you guys and girls out there this spring, or whenever you're going out turkey hunting. If you're fall turkeying, a lot of this will work too. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, take care and God bless.